you have to find the problem child and chase that rabbit. So if I feel like I'm slacking on my leadership, then I'll turn to my leadership books and audios and start touching base with that again, getting back in that path. If I'm slacking with, this over here, maybe it's, trying to sales, consulting. Then I'll start go over there and chase that rabbit for a minute and get that all tuned up. If I feel like my body is starting to get kind of blah, then I'll hit the gym for a while and start sharpening that tool. It's balance, right? It's balance. You can only be at so many places at once. If you are focused on one thing, you're more likely to achieve it than if you're like all over the place. However, running a business, you are a little bit all over the place, but setting aside tasks and jobs for people are also very important, because then you're not stressed out with trying to deal with it while you're dealing with this over here. They do it. So you basically take some off your plate, put it on their plate. Sharpening the tools is always going to be educating yourself on what you were supposed to be doing. And like with real estate investing, I'm learning a lot about it. I've got a long way to go, and I'm reading about it. I'm listening to some people that I believe are a good fit for me, and I try to find a time, at least an hour or so a day, when I can just unplug from everything and just focus on, okay, now I'm gonna get my real estate investing notes out and kind of work on that. Or I'll just be looking around on Zillow, just looking at stuff. I'm look at this, I bet I can make that investment. Let me take a look, and I'll see what it's sold for, what it's for sale for. I'll check out the location, and just for fun, I'll do a practice. All right, I could buy that. My mortgage payment would be this. Property tax, yada yada yada. Property manager, this would be my gross. If I rented it at this amount, and with these expenses, this would be my net. If I put this much down, blah blah blah. I'll play around with that once in a while, just to kind of help, having an intuition of what is a good deal before you even punch the numbers. Somebody practiced at that could look at something and just go, this is not a good deal. I can go look at an apartment building that's just run down and messed up, and in an area where there's bad stuff happening, and I can just be like, this is not a good deal no matter what. They want to sell this place for $5 million. It barely cash flows off that, and then you're going to have to put $500,000 in renovations in it, if the bank will even give you a loan to renovate it, because it doesn't make enough money already. So they don't want to give you a loan. So you'd be surprised how many people get in trouble because they're not sharpening their tools. You gotta work out the brain muscle before you start lifting heavy. I absolutely study leadership first and foremost everywhere I can. That is going to be the best thing you can do for yourself in any job, unless you work a job where you don't deal with people at all whatsoever, which they're out there, but not me. All I do is deal with people, hundreds, thousands, and I want to be able to communicate with them. I want to be able to entice them. I want to be able to learn from them and educate them, and I want to make a name for myself. So that's what I stick with, educating myself on leadership. Your best businessmen in the world are good leaders. They're good leaders. And yeah, there's some very, very successful businessmen, financially successful, that may not seem like the type of person that are a leader, but they still are a leader, because they are setting an example for the people that are making their business possible. But for what I do, I know what I need to be and what I want to be, and that's where I'm gonna where I'm gonna hang out. Communication is, think of you go to the store and you buy a piece of furniture that you gotta put together. And you take it home and unbox it and there's no plans, there's no drawings. What do? How many times you fuck it up before you finally put it together, right? Now imagine if you had plans, detailed, itemized plans. Where to start, all that good stuff. It's a lot easier to put that thing together. Even if that thing is something as simple as like a shelf. Come on now. Communication is very important. Communication is very important. Just like with my company, my construction companies, we gotta have design. You know, you look at this kitchen like, oh, you just screw the cabinets to the wall, put some tile on, good to go. No, there's an order in which things have to be done, and there's those screws have to hit studs, and you gotta make sure those screws don't hit a pipe. You know, like there's ductwork for that range hood right there that has to be perfectly lined up so that it can, suck air out of the room and blow it outside. And oh, by the way, in order for that range hood to suck air out of the room, air has to come into the room from the outside. But when it's winter outside, we don't want to bring cold air into the room, so you have to have a relay switch that communicates with the makeup air, so it turns the furnace on and pumps air to the vents from outside. You see what I'm saying? Like there's so many things that have to happen in a certain way, in a certain order. And without communication, design doesn't happen. Does not happen. And then having to communicate is in itself leadership, because you're talking to people. Man, I can't tell you how many subcontractors that I've dealt with who are just not people at all. They don't communicate well, and I work with them, I give them a chance, and then I realize why they are where they are. It's because, dude, I don't care how good you are at running wires and being an electrician. If you can't speak to a customer without being condescending and disrespectful and just all around rough, you're not gonna do well. If you're talking to someone in a way that's condescending and you're just rough, you're not gonna do well. So leadership, that'll make your business way more successful, is having not just you as a leader, but implementing other leaders. People who actually want to be leaders. I've interviewed people to be, project managers and superintendents for my company, and these guys are in their 60s, and they are just like, I don't even want to say the words. They're just the most rude, rough, cocky guys, and just okay, are you trying to impress me or scare me away? Because you're scaring me away. I don't care how big and bad you think you are. You talk to people because you know what you know and you try to make them look bad. That to me tells me that your MO is to just be a dick. I want to hire people who would take a situation and be constructive about it. Not just go, what the fuck are you doing? Are you an idiot? That's not how you do it. This is how you do it. Well, first of all, why would you criticize somebody unless you knew what the underlying reason was that they did what they did? Even with customers, I have customers sometimes that call me up and they ask me stupid questions, and then I give them a real answer, a constructive answer, and they say, "Oh, that was a stupid question, wasn't it?" I'm like, "No, it wasn't." No, I can't really say it was a stupid question because you don't know what you don't know, right? If I go ask you something about your job, you're going to criticize me? No. To you, it may sound like a stupid question because you know it, the answer, but I don't, right? It's like when a football player asks a baseball player how to, hit the ball. He's like, you swing the bat and hit the ball, duh. No, it's not a stupid question. There's real validity to that question because he doesn't understand it. So leaders are able to look at every situation and figure out how to be most constructive. And I'll tell you what a real leader will do, that within a team, A real leader will run into a problem, and instead of just pointing out the problem to me or to whoever, they'll come up with a solution. Unless they can't, then they'll point it out and say, by the way, this is what I thought might work. You tell me. That's what a real leader would do.